Okay, everybody, if you could take your seats, please. We're about to start the second half of our forum tonight. You guys ready? And I've just been told I need to say that a little louder. If you could please take your seats, we're going to start the second half of our program. And apparently my mic is very quiet, so I will do it one more time. If you could please take your seats, we're about to start the second half of our program. So the second half of our program this evening is to introduce the mayoral candidates. There is just the one seat for this particular part of the election, and we're going to be hearing from, we have all 5 candidates here this evening running for this one seat. I would ask the candidates, please, to pay attention to our timekeepers. You are going to get 2 minutes to make an opening statement. Your timekeepers will let you know at 60 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, which will give you an indication that it's time to start rounding up, and then you will be asked to stop. And if you do not stop at that point, the moderator will be asking you to please stop. The questions will be presented. You will get 1 minute to answer the questions, and then at the end of the evening, you will have 2 more minutes to make your closing statements. So with that, I would like to hand over to Nina Moore from the League of Women Voters, our moderator for this evening.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here with all of you, and we will start with opening statements. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. When it is your turn to speak, please press the speak button. And then when you are done speaking, please press it again to turn it off so there's no noise while someone else is speaking. So each of you will have up to 2 minutes to introduce yourselves to the audience. And our timekeepers will indicate when you have 60 seconds, 30 seconds, and 10 seconds remaining, and will then hold up the stop paddle. And you don't want to know the consequences for running over. And we are going to go in alphabetical order, and then we'll rotate. So starting with the opening statement, and this is 2 minutes, we will start with Debbie Indahar Giordano, and go ahead and start. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I've lived in Milpitas for 58 years, grew up, had been educated here, and my parents still live in the community. They're 92 and 93 years of age. I've been on the council 12 years. Preceding that, I spent 7 years on the Planning Commission and 3 years on the Community Advisory Commission. And it's no hidden secret that our city of Milpitas was awarded the 14th best city in the United States by Money Magazine. We're doing well. We have crime that's been reduced by 16%. We have police response times that are less than 3 minutes, fire department less than 5 minutes, and I'm very proud to have the endorsement of both those public safety unions. We also understand that schools are very important. We have excellent schools, and we've built a partnership over the years between the schools and the city. And I'm proud to say that I have the endorsement of the president of the school board, Guanali Sentosa, the vice president of the school board, Bob Nunes, and also Dan Bobet of the school board. I also have endorsements from 6 of the 12 commission chairs, which recognize that I have true leadership ability to help move the city forward as mayor. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and I look forward to the questions tonight.
Thank you. And now we move on to Robert Marini.
I'm a resident of Milpitas for over 30 years, and I have an engineering degree. I've attended city council members for the last 6 years representing your interests without pay, and noticed that the council members represent business interests. We have too much traffic, poor governance, and little transparency. The city has lost $1 million due to age discrimination lawsuits and pays millions in consultant fees. The council members have done nothing to prevent this from occurring in the future. We have a major water drought, but thousands of more parcels are approved every year. Giordano and Montano voted to increase your fees by 145% and reduce the fees for parcels that use irrigation water, and there's 700,000 gallons of water are lost every day, costing you $2.4 million. The city has violated Proposition 218 by increasing your fees above what is needed and charging you for irrigation water that's not received. No transparency on utility fees. You pay the highest sewage fees, the second highest water fees in Santa Clara County. The city does not disclose the utility fees and calculations in their notice sent to the public required by law. We got enough signatures to put the tiered rates on the ballot in November, but Debbie Giordano stopped the utility ballot. Violation of electric code and poor governance. The city of Santa Clara has a 2-term limit that put on their ballot to prevent members from promoting their own businesses. We need more transparency, better governance, less traffic, and term limits. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we go to Carmen Montano.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. My family moved to Milpitas in the 1960s from the Central Valley to the Bay Area. My father worked at General Motors as part of the growing working class in the Bay Area of the 1960s. The two major employers at that time were the semiconductor industry and the automobile industry, with Ford Motor Company in Milpitas and General Motors in Fremont. I have strong roots in Milpitas. I attended here in Milpitas the schools, and so did my children and my grandchildren. So we have a vested interest here in Milpitas. I want this city to be in the forefront as being one of the best and safest cities to live in, to work, and to raise a family. And as a school teacher, I know the value of a good education. I will work closely with our school district to provide the resources they need to help our students succeed. Milpitas is the gateway to Silicon Valley. As your mayor, I would want to take our city to a greater level of prosperity that will benefit all the residents of our city. I will promote a better quality of life by providing more recreational and shopping facilities near neighborhoods and transit areas. I have a passion for public service, and my record shows I like problem solving to improve and make life better for all. I would like the opportunity to serve as your mayor with creative leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now we move on to Voltaire Montemayor.
Hello, everybody. My townmates, beloved townmates. My name is Voltaire Montemayor, humble candidate for Milpitas Mayor. I'm a member of the Sunny Hills Neighborhood Association, SNA. I'm 64 years old, a geologist, engineer, technician, a singer, a good chess player, a sports player, recently a handyman assistant, and also a building facility assistant at St. John's. My wife works for Kaiser. We have 3 wonderful sons. I took BS in geology in Manila, MIT. I took my engineering at Mission College, Santa Clara. I took my automotive repair technician at Fremont, California. I was also sent by the Bureau of Mines and Geosciences to Japan to study offshore, almost the tsunamis. I work for electronic companies, Hewlett-Packard, Technology Glass Corporation, Shasta General System, Toyota. I'll be a big help for water shortage. I will now, the rain is coming, it's here, thank you, Lord. I will help. Whenever there's a flood problem, I'll be there, call me. As Reagan said, if we forget what we were, we won't know what we are. I respect others' worship ways also. I attend council meetings. I especially speak during the public forum and the public hearings. I advocate world peace. There are troublesome countries now. I help world peace. I want the problem of US, Philippines, and China be resolved among all the Asian counties. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Tran.
Good evening. First, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight to this forum, taking time out of your evening. It really means a lot to everybody here that there are residents that really care about the issues, which is why we're all out here tonight. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce once again for hosting this fantastic event. Again, it means so much to us candidates to have a platform to express our views. My name is Rich Tran, and I'm running for mayor of Milpitas. I grew up here, went to Pomeroy Elementary, Thomas Russell Middle School, and Milpitas High School. I got deep roots in this community. I'm still here. I love Milpitas. These days, I am a medical social worker over at the county hospital on Bascom. I'm over in the emergency department dealing with crisis management every morning, so that's fun. I'm also part of the United States military, 129th Rescue Wing, Air National Guard over at Moffett Field. So my, I put service before self, and that's why I'm running for mayor. We got a lot of things going on in Milpitas. I think we got too much high density developments going on. We don't have enough schools for the youth. We don't have enough roads. Families are struggling. The water utility rate changed. Households that use water more than others are really pinched right now. So I'm trying to represent them as best as I can. Measure L is another big issue. I'll be voting yes on Measure L. I understand all the implications involved. So let's get tonight started.
Thank you very much. And that concludes our opening statements. And now we move on to questions. And we will continue the rotation in alphabetical order. Each candidate will have up to 1 minute to give their answer, and you will get a 30-second notice and a 10-second notice, and then the stop paddle. And we will continue to rotate through with a different person starting each time. So with that, the first question, you have 1 minute to answer, is for Robert Marini. And the question is, Measures I and J impact the hills overlooking Milpitas. Measure K protects park and open space land. Explain your views on developments or limiting developments on the hillsides and elsewhere in Milpitas.
Well, as I said in my opening statement, we have too much traffic in Milpitas as it is right now. I'm against developing the hills, but I'm also against any additional development in the valleys as well. So, because we have to, keep up with the infrastructure of our city, and we have not done that. The schools have not kept up because of all the new students coming in. We have not provided enough room, but we constantly are increasing the population. So I'm against any development both in the hills or in the valley. Thank you.
Thank you. And we now move on to Carmen Montano. I absolutely can. Measures I and J impact the hills overlooking Milpitas. Measure K protects park and open space. Explain your views on developments or limiting development on the hillsides and or elsewhere in Milpitas.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I and another council member, Marcia Grilli, are the authors of Measure I, the urban growth boundary. That what we advocated not to have development on our hillsides. That we wanted to go ahead and do the 20-year extension, and that means no building. You can have some building, but not. There's only a certain amount. It's not extensive. So that's my point of view on the urban growth boundary. I do not want any hillside development that is going to impede and have an exploitation of the land in the open space area. Thank you.
Okay, and moving on to Mr. Montemayor.
Also, please repeat the question, please.
Absolutely. This one's a long one. Measures I and J impact the hills overlooking Milpitas. Measure K protects park and open space. Explain your views on developments or limiting developments on the hillsides or elsewhere in Milpitas.
Hi. Measure I and Measure J are correlated. Measure I is the boundary. There may be encroachment from inside, encroachments from outside, from the district. In other words, we have to take care. Once they develop, we get a problem in the city. They may ask our budget. Same thing is from the city to the boundary. They need help from the city. In other words, for those infrastructures, if they dig out, we need to repair the pipes that will go underneath the rocks. For Measure K, as long as there is fresh air in the parks, then we will develop it good. Even we will develop, as long as still a free air going, we could build a building as part of the park. It's still a probable development for the parks. As long as we take care of the facilities, restrooms. Some parks don't have restrooms. So we need to develop them. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Trant.
I will be voting yes on measures I, J, and K. That's not only what I want, but that's what the residents of Milpitas want. It's what's right for our history, right? Going back to when this city first began, when we didn't have all these subdivisions and folks settled actually up in the hills. And so without preserving and protecting our hills, that'll take away from our history. So I'll always vote in favor of protecting our hills. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we go to Ms. Giordano.
As a council member, I voted to put I, J, and K on the ballot for the voters to decide, and that's the right place for it to be. But make sense of the urban growth boundary that was put in place in 1998. It did not create a moratorium. There's still buildable hillsides, and that's in the county's purview. The urban growth boundary just eliminates the fact that the county lands can be annexed into the city. So also the hillside ordinance that was passed said that the voters were to decide if there's any change to that ordinance rather than any new councils coming in. And that makes sense from a managerial perspective. The Measure K for the parks, I signed on to the ballot statement. I believe in that, and I believe in the preservation for the parkland.
Thank you very much. The next question, we will start with Carmen Montano. And the question is, Governor Brown's minimum wage bill for $15 per hour goes into effect by 2023. The Cities Association has recommended that cities accelerate this to $15 per hour by 2018. What effect will this have on businesses in Milpitas, and do you support acceleration of the minimum wage?
Thank you for that question. Yes, I do believe in, first of all, we live in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, the cost of living is very high. The wages have not kept up. They have not kept up with the cost of living. Right now, most people do make I think the minimum wage is $10, and 2023 is just way too long for people to survive in this valley. So I do promote an accelerated wage increase. However, there needs to be maybe in a gradual sense, so that way the businesses won't be impacted so much. But we should be able to provide a living wage for the citizens of well, actually for the whole region. It's not just Milpitas, but for the whole region. What's happening is you have a lot of people moving out of the area or being pushed out of the area because they can't afford to live here in the valley. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Montemayor.
In line with to my right, I agree with the increase of minimum wage, the shortest if possible, but we have to compete. I challenge the small businesses not to give up. I challenge the workers to work harder, to work faster. We need precision, accuracy, and speed. In other words, we got to compete in our minds. The food for the table, we got to compete. We need the minimum wage to be raised. In our minds, we need to go to Disneyland in summertime. We have to earn more. In other words, we just have to compete. We have to take care of ourselves. We got to work. We got to do physical fitness to be strong all the time and to take care of our children for the needs, for the school needs, for the recreation needs, and for the needs of all the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tran.
Yes, I do support acceleration of the living wage, especially here in Santa Clara Valley or Silicon Valley. Our middle class is shrinking. It's very expensive to live in Santa Clara County. Just take a look at our homeless population. That's a prime indicator of not having a living wage. There's, out of the whole county's residents, 7% of them are homeless. That's the highest rate in the whole United States. And so, yes, we should accelerate the living wage. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we go to Mr. Dono.
This was a question that was asked when I was interviewed by the San Jose Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce, which I received their endorsement. Acceleration of the minimum wage really impacts businesses and how they operate and makes an undue burden on them. And right now, a lot of businesses are struggling. I obviously support the statewide minimum wage, but to accelerate that, to go up and beyond that, I would not support that.
Thank you. And then Mr. Marini, you will be the last person on this question.
Sure. I think that we should do it in the gradual steps. In other words, I agree that some smaller businesses have a hard time with the fee increase, but larger businesses, as an example, Walmart, can easily afford to. So I would gradually, yes, I would raise the minimum wage in a progressive manner such that the higher number of corporations that have the highest number of employees, like let's say 1,000 or more, would be subject to the fee increase or the salary increase, and not allow small businesses to be impacted as much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question, we will start with Mr. Montemayor. And this is a two-part question. Actually, it's just a long question. Measure B will bring in over $40 million for local road repair in Milpitas. Do you support Measure B? And if it passes, what will be your role in ensuring our needs are a priority?
I support it. As long as please consider also the PRT, our personal transit that comes from Sunny Hills neighborhood to the BART station. It's just a tip of what is asked for us to build. We gotta take care of the BART station. We gotta go towards the Niners from BART station to the Levi's. We gotta do some automated or auto ride to save gas, to save time. And the PRT make Milpitas shine. This is for the first time in the whole world. Let's make Milpitas be known because of this PRT come from the billion project tax. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Tran.
Yes, I am in support of Measure B. I'll be voting for it. A lot of attention has been drawn to the measure's impact on Milpitas. This is a 30-year half-cent sales tax that's supposed to raise about $6.5 billion. Here's my deal. Since the end of the recession, we've had nearly 400,000 people move into the Bay Area from San Francisco down to Milpitas. 400,000 people, that's a lot of cars. We need this measure to pass. We need to alleviate traffic everywhere. We need to work on our public transportation systems, and we need to repair our old infrastructure. How many times do we hear about that on the television, right? America's aging, and we need to fix things and renovate things. I will be voting yes on Measure B. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move to the other side. Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes, I actually have gone out publicly to support Measure B. It will expand the overcrossing of Calaveras Boulevard and improve Montague Expressway. But one of the most important things about the transportation tax is that it will add to our road improvements here. And it actually penalizes cities that have a below 70 PCI level, and we are above that, so we'll be able to get funds to be able to improve our roads. As a mayor, I'll be sitting at the VTA board or my appointee, and we'll be lobbying for those funds and being able to work with the other cities and compete for those funds.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Marini.
Well, it depends if it's a half a cent tax and it benefits the city of Milpitas, fine. But if it's going to benefit some other communities or more roads, then it's going to be problematic because we have a tremendous traffic problem here in Milpitas. And maybe a tax increase that it supports more the improvements in here in Milpitas was better expenditure of our money than a general tax increase on the general funds. So I have my issues with it. So I'll just say right now that it needs more work. We need to look into in more depth. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Montano.
Thank you. Yes, I support Measure B. And the reason why I support Measure B is because it's a regional issue. It's just not a Milpitas issue. We are the crossroads to Silicon Valley. We have 680 and 880, which impact our roads. And it's a given. Right now, there's a big population boom. And I'm very confident that with Measure B, we will have a lot of the road improvements that we need. We will have 237 improved. We will have Calaveras widened. And we were also given an assurance that that will be happening in Milpitas. I also served on the mayor's task force for this, but I was as an alternate to find out what are the needs of each of the cities. And so we were able to put down some of our needs, were the Caltrans thoroughfare through Calaveras Hills and also 237. So I will also be a proponent for making sure that we get the funds that we need and also throughout the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next question, we'll start with Richard Tran. And the question is, we are hearing a lot about the attributes of candidates for President of the United States. What attributes do you bring to the leadership for Milpitas?
I bring 3 attributes or core values: integrity, service before self, and excellence in what I do. I think it's demonstrated by my professional background. I'm a public servant. I work for the county as a medical social worker. I work with the homeless population. I work with folks with mental health conditions, folks with substance abuse problems. And I serve the United States military. I'll put my life out there for the people of Milpitas. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Mr. O'Donnell.
Yeah, I would say there's 3. The first would be experience. I have 12 years of experience on the council, and I believe that I'm able and fully equipped to move the city forward in the capacity of as mayor. I'm decisive. over the course of the 12 years, we had a shortfall of the redevelopment agency, and we needed to close a $9.2 million budget shortfall gap. And we had to make some very critical decisions about employees and contracting out services. And we made those choices. And today, we're sitting with a $17 million surplus revenue. I do support youth and the seniors. I'm a liaison to the Youth Advisory Commission, so I understand their needs. And I'm also the liaison to the Terrace Gardens Board of Directors. Those have been a joy to work with the youth and the seniors.
Thank you. Mr. Marini?
Yeah, I've attended city council members for the last 6 years, being a proponent of the public. I've tried to explain to the city how they're not being transparent on the issues, and I get rebuffed all the time. I've worked with Martin Skelton, Sylvia Napolitano, and Jennifer, and we work to give you the right to choose your utility fees. In other words, vote on your utility fees. And Debbie Giordano voted to deny you your constitutional rights. So I've done my due diligence of working for the city for no pay at all to help this community improve its transparency, its governance, and its fairer utility bills. So I've done what I can, not being a member of any assigned council. And I've got experience as well in the private industry, and I've done just as much.
Okay, your time's up. Thank you. Ms. Montano.
Thank you. Some of the attributes that I will bring is to getting things done. I would want to be the people's mayor and be a voice for the people. And I always believe that actions speak louder than words. You know, a lot of people say they're going to do this, do that, but but the bottom line is when people do what they say they're going to do, they do it. Some of my accomplishments as a city council member is I created a family resource center, and that was one of my platforms when I ran for city council. The Family Resource Center, I also partnered with the Milpitas Unified School District to create a Family Resource Center at one of our lowest performing schools at Randall Elementary School. I advocated to give a raise to our crossing guards. We hadn't had a raise in over 10 years. I was able to reduce the food pantry rental fees from $1,700 a month to $1 a month. They are the ones that serve the poor. They are the ones that serve the poor, the most vulnerable in our community. And I was surprised that we were charging them we're charging them rent on a public designated site.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now Mr. Montemayor.
Yeah, the name Voltaire, if you have read the world history. But anyway, I'll be for civic, religious, and political leader. Civic includes technology. Religious means the church is being entrusted to me. In the time of the day, 12 o'clock, midnight, I go to the church. I'll take care of the church. If I could take care of the church, I could take care of Milpitas. If the Philippine government entrusted me airplanes, pilots, engineers, taking care of the islands, the whole Philippines as a country in peso, though, while in the city of Milpitas, I'll take care of Milpitas, even though it's $1 compared to peso. In other words, as I said, I respect anyone's worship ways. I respect all walks of life. Any time of the day, they call me. They're struggling. They call me. I go. I answer, and I gave him my pleasure to help them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next question, and we're back to the beginning, and we start with Ms. Giordano. And again, another 1-minute answer. Have you taken a position on Measure L? And if so, please share your rationale for how you arrived at your position. Will you support the outcome and will of the voters on Measure L if you are elected mayor?
Yes, I have taken a position. Of course, I'm supporting the vote that I took on the city council to move our waste disposal site to Guadalupe, away from the Newbie Island facility. So yes, I'm supporting that decision. It's the smart thing to do. It's the most cost-effective thing to do, and it certainly is the best thing for the community. The other part of the question, I'm sorry, was?
will you support the outcome and will of the voters on Measure L if you are elected mayor?
Absolutely. I believe that that would have to be implemented. We'll let the voters decide, but I'm definitely in support of Measure L.
Thank you. Moving on to Mr. Marini.
Well, Measure L is a complicated issue. It has to do with the odor that we're getting from the landfill over there, Newby landfill, and it has to deal with costs. If you're living in the neighbor where you have the smell, then that's a problem. And the other issue is the cost. All we know right now is the cost of the disposal, but we don't know the cost of collection yet. So we haven't got the total cost figure, basically. And if, let's say, Measure L passes, whatever, you're still going to have that landfill there, and you're still going to have to deal with the smell because it's not going to be closed down. So these are the issues you need to consider when you vote, but I will support what the public wants on this issue. It's an issue of cost, smell, and whatever. So that you have my position. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Ms. Montano.
Thank you. I am not in a position to give you an answer right now about where I am, my stance on it. I'm still researching, and it is a very complicated issue. There are many other factors that are involved in that. First of all, there are many sources where that deal with Measure L. The odor, the site expansion, and people don't know if that odor is coming up from the biodegradable elements in the bay, whether it's from the sewer plant or whether it's from Newby Island or whether it's from the composting. So I'm still researching that, and I'm not at liberty to say whether I'm going to vote, where I'm going to vote on that. But I want whoever does say where their stance is, they need to hold them accountable. If they're saying they're voting for it, then we need to hold them accountable that they are voting for it. But as I mentioned, I am not in a right now. I'm still researching because it is very complex, and I will make my decision next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had my mic on all the way. This Measure L is 6 angles. We have the San Jose City, Milpitas City, the Almaden Valley residents, the Milpitas resident, although the area are both in San Jose. We have now the petition, the Republic, petitioning. They didn't submit entry though last time. That's why Waste Management got awarded. But the petition is part of the law. For me, it's a 50-50. Maybe 49.001 or 999, 50.001, either way. I'll support both because it's a big problem. The main thing is we have to help each other. Whoever wins it, we have to reconcile. We have to take care of ourselves. We don't put into litigation whatever the result is. I will agree. I will support both because I'm in a 50-50 decision. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Mr. Tran.
Thank you. So I'm yes on Measure L, but it took me a while to get there. I've been going door to door all across Milpitas, down on Heath Street, talking to folks that are really impacted by the odor. I've talked to folks even on North Park, Victoria, who are affected by the odor. I've talked to folks who like to have the free dump day. But as I've talked to folks in our neighborhood, in our community, I've come to the conclusion that the right thing to do is yes on Measure L. And folks don't want to just see the new waste disposal contract with Waste Management. They want to see the landfill close. And I'll work harder than any other candidate here to make sure that the next generation of Milpetians live in a city they can breathe easily in. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we probably have time for one, maybe two more before closing. But the next one, we start with Mr. Marini again. Am I right in where I am in the order? Yes, great. What is your opinion of the City Council's decision to create a citizens task force to examine water rates? What do you hope the task force will accomplish?
Well, I don't know what the task force is going to accomplish with this. They should have had this task force before they voted on it. They decided not to do that. So I don't even know what the objective is of the task force. They didn't even ask me if I wanted to be a member of the task force, yet I was one of the proponents that started the initiative with other people to get it on the ballot, which was denied by Debbie Giordano here. So I would hope that they come to the conclusion that it's a little bit too late to make the decision. They've already made a decision, and the new mayor and council members in the future will make a decision on that, is where it should be. So I hope they come to some good conclusions, but I have my doubts about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Montano?
Thank you. The task force, I believe it's a little bit too late because it should have gone to in my opinion, it should have gone to the voters and let the voters decide whether we wanted a tiered system or to have a flat rate system. However, the council majority decided that it should be a flat rate and just not to take it to the voters. However, because of that, well, then we had to decide whether to create a task force. So I decided to go ahead and support it because it was the right thing to do since the other way didn't pass. And we appointed each council member appointed 2 members from that. And the good thing that will come out of it, at least it'll be studied, but that could have been avoided if we would have just let the people vote on it. Because I think that having the people the right to vote supersedes our decision. So even if it was deemed illegal, I still think that it should have been taken to the voters. It just reminds me of the Jim Crow laws that, even though slavery was illegal.
Thank you very much.
It wasn't.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Please don't get mad at me. I will present to you the comparative value. $1 is 1/4 of the milk, and 1/3 gallon of gas is $1. We're spending only less than a penny per gallon. In other words, 116 gallons of water per dollar. The problem, the ways we had is we have to have a reserve money for the infrastructure. When there are the pipes broken, we have to have a reserve money. In other words, we have to take, instead of a disaster, suddenly the pipes break, the old pipes break, and we don't have a reserve money. That's why we are trying to have the money. And we're trying to have the raise of money to have that, the cost of gas, the administration, and the transfer of gas will cost the whole thing, which is less than a penny per gallon. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Trent.
I think the Water Utility Rate Task Force or the Water Task Force is a good idea. Anytime you can get our residents engaged with our city management, it's a good thing. But like some of the other candidates have said here, it's a little too late. I was really discouraged by the city council's decision to not allow voters to decide on the water utility rate. If elected, I'll always allow voters to decide on key issues, whatever it may be. Thank you.
Thank you. And now back to you, Mr. Dunn.
Yeah, as a city council member, we received input from a consultant before we even looked at the water rate structure. So there was a lot of work that was done to get to this point where we are today. And I have to point out, there's a chart, and it's all this is available online. All this information is out there. Out of 18 neighboring cities, we're about midway point in terms of water rates. So cities throughout the area are having to raise water rates. But I did ask the council and my colleagues to set up the Citizens Rate Task Force, and that is similar to the Budget Task Force that we did a few years ago. The Citizens Task Force would review water rate structure. They would look at the delivery of the systems of the water, water sources, long-term capital needs. So there's a lot of information that they can go through. And I assigned 2 members of the business community to have their input into that group.
Thank you. Okay, we are now at the last question before closing remarks. And we will start with Ms. Montano. And the question is, Milpitas is very proud of its status for having more people work in our city than live here. Should Milpitas continue to promote business growth in the city by attempting to attract large businesses or stores?
Thank you for that question. We should always try to provide jobs for our residents and for the region. However, but when you do that, you also have to provide the infrastructure, meaning the roads. Right now, we are widening. The county is widening Montague Expressway, which will also alleviate. We are having BART come in to alleviate some of that traffic congestion. So yes, I do believe, but it has to be smart growth where we widen the streets, where we have BART coming in, and we provide other services, perhaps like a shuttle service that will go provide some of these jobs that will come from Silicon Valley, from Cupertino, Mountain View, Sunnyvale, that will come into Milpitas, bringing in, and so that way they won't impact the traffic in Milpitas. But yes, it is good because it also brings in revenue and provides jobs for people to try to survive in this valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Montemayor.
I'm proud. We should be proud for our city. Everybody want to stay. They don't want to leave, even though how expensive houses are, the rent are. So we may need a rent control to control the rent of the houses. We have a very good police or peacekeeping officer. People, the firemen, they are punctual. We should not be like other places. I don't want to put negative to other places. We should respect the peacekeeping officer. We should know what they do. They should know how strict they are. They're friendly anyway. Just the word sorry. They respect you anyway. Hopefully there's no brutality among the police now in this town, in this city, because it is a problem when there's brutality and there's no respect to the police. So we have to respect each other. Among our neighbors, we have to respect each other. We have to love each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tran, please.
Thank you. At this time, I don't think Milpitas is ready to attract a large private corporation, especially one with over 10,000 employees. I think Milpitas is ready right now to attract a small or a medium-sized company, maybe up to about 5,000 employees. If we attract a Google or an Amazon location here in Milpitas, I mean, that's going to bring in a whole lot of residents, and it's really going to make a push on a lot of people that have been here for a long time. I'm just going to go back around to why I'm running for mayor. We need to build our infrastructure up so that we can take in all these folks, right? We need more schools, we need more roads, we need a host of other things. Let's make sure that we have an infrastructure to do that, and so that we can prevent any issues that a large corporation might bring in with so many people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Giordano.
Yes, we have a fantastic jobs to housing balance, 1.9 to 1. We've been able to attract companies like Flextronics. Virgin Hotel is coming to our city. Cisco last week just put in $500,000 worth of improvements to their facility, so they're adding more employees. There was a dialysis company that spent $1.73 million to put their facility here. But what we've done as a city to improve our standard of welcoming these businesses and corporations to come here, we achieved the highest rating of the #1 building code in residential for commercial and industrial property. There was a memo 2 months ago from Kevan Aranajan, our chief building inspector. So we are one of the most state-of-the-art and the best cities to come here and to put your company and get up and running.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Marini.
Well, it depends on the type of businesses that come to Milpitas. I would agree with Richard Tran that we need smaller people, small companies that have a lot smaller population, so we can handle it. We're already straining in the transportation and infrastructure for the schools. We would like, obviously, we would like more businesses than the home developments in Milpitas. So I think we should stick with that philosophy and not just, randomly just start building more buildings to increase the traffic and slow down. It's a nightmare driving through Milpitas today as it is. So we need to fix our infrastructure before and have smaller companies in Milpitas. Thank you.
Thank you. So that includes the question portion of the forum. And now we move on to closing remarks. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes. You will be notified when you have 60 seconds left, 30 seconds, and 10 seconds. And then you'll see the stop paddle. And we ask that you respect the time. And we're going to continue with the rotation. So, Mr. Montemayor, we start with you.
I have with me, please vote for Voltaire Montemayor for mayor. I'm a leader ever since, from Cub Scout, Student Body Council, High School Student Body Council President, Association President of the town where I came from, Farmers Association President, and more. Member of Lions Club, Chancellor of the Knights of Columbus, a singer, choir member, and I'm a great chess player. I could move chess. I answer your chess without a chessboard. In other words, I will bring the chess champions in Milpitas. I will bring the bowling champions in Milpitas. I bowl. I challenge the bowlers. I challenge the basketball players. I'm a playing coach in basketball. I'll bring business. People are calling me, once you are elected, we will go and see you because we have our project. We just need some budget. They said, I will try my best. In other words, my leadership is there. I'm a co-pilot navigator. As I said, the Philippine government entrusted to me airplane. I go with the photo equipment because we have photographs, 4,000 shots a day. I develop them. I'm singing my way there, Frank Sinatra. In other words, I've been a leader. So with that, I will solve the water shortage. Yes, I'm a geologist. Seasonal flooding. I'll go dredging. If, let's say we have like the Netherlands, it so happened that it's a high tide, we will have a water break. In other words, we could use Nubay Island now as a protector. We could pump the water from Milpitas over Nubay Island, so we won't be flooding. We should have a big pump. We should drill where the waters are for water shortages. I have more to say, but I got 5 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tran.
I just want to thank everybody again tonight for coming out and listening to the issues. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce one more time for hosting and facilitating for us. My campaign slogan is Milpitas Families First. I was raised in Milpitas, and I'm a proud product of our schools. I'm a professional public servant now. I'm constantly proud of our children's accomplishments, whether it be winning high school football championships or earning admission to the top universities in the world. Milpitas' cultural diversity, economic opportunities, and natural beauty combine to make our city one of the world's best to raise a family. And I've been all around, and we're one of the best, I promise you. In recent years, however, Milpitas has faced a great challenge. Our city is overpopulated. We're the fastest growing city in the valley. We have unsustainable housing growth, high density. We haven't built a school in decades. And we have other quality of life issues such as crowded roads. Milpitas should put its resources back into the people. That's why I'm running for mayor. I hope that we can work together using common sense thinking. I hope we can make decisions together for a better Milpitas for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dono.
We live in a very exciting time right now in our city. It's been termed that we are a city under construction. That's what our economic development director always says. So this new council and mayor will be able to move forward and be able to move through all the great things that are in place to make this an even better and more vibrant city. Looking at our strategic plan that we're putting in place very soon, let me cite what the community vision is. It's to preserve a close-knit and diverse community, support sustainable growth, ensure public safety, enhance the environment, nurture families and connections. So those are our goals, and we've already set that in place. As mayor of Milpitas, I would like to honor that community vision and move